I've said I can't continue but she wants us to try. Hello guys. Welcome to MCL True Story. Before we dive into today's story, I would like to remind you guys to smash the likes button, leave a comment, subscribe and turn on the notifications icon. Today's story is very interesting. I will advise you to grab some drinks and popcorn and relax as we enjoy today's story. And here we go. I told my wife that I want divorce, but she wants us to try. I've said I can't continue but she wants us to try. I know that it is very selfish of me to want a divorce but I don't feel I can take this anymore. We've, me 36 or 37, been married for 1,5 years now and it's just getting worse emo. Arguments in front or loud enough so that the kids can hear us bickering. We have 2 boys, 13 and 15, not mine biology but known them and her since 2012, that listen to this all the time. Before I enter the house from work, I'm already thinking, what have I done wrong today or have I forgotten something that she is going to be angry about? Every day. After Christmas and New Year's I told her last Sunday that I don't feel that I can continue with us. We don't talk, only text. Today she wrote that she will not sign the paperwork and that we should try and work things out. What about the boys, the house, the family? She says I'm ruining our family. Maybe I am. One of the boys has exams in May and both boys are changing schools this summer. There are so many things, birthdays and summer vacation, that's going down the drain. I feel so bad for them but I can't stand 1 more month let alone 6 months with therapy and giving false hopes. I don't know how to tell the kids about this. Is there a good way to do it? Have any of you experienced that your wife wouldn't sign? We live in Northern Europe. Let's see what the community have to say. Comments. Token_or_Talkinupas says. She's snapping out of it and realizing how much work and money it will take to raise her own kids by herself without her current walking ATM. This isn't about working shit out. It's become about economics for her. It's okay for her to berate you in front of them but she's suddenly feeling protective of them when you threaten to leave? KDThex01 says. Yeah, she's the one ruining the family by treating him poorly. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for your input. Yes, it is going to be difficult for her. Actually she has a very well-paid job but I don't think she can stay in the house without my share. You're right, she's thinking a lot about her and the kids that, maybe, have to find a new home. Keeping together for stability isn't happiness for me. Feifel says. I don't think it's as nefarious as you make it out to be. If she grew up in a similar household as to what they have now her subconscious may just recognize this is how things are supposed to be and it wasn't until upset he was done that she actually recognized something was wrong and needed fixed. Guy_N_Cognito_2 says. I tried for 4 years to fix an egg. It was a very similar situation to yours. She was never happy with my efforts. I never did enough in her eyes. I dreaded walking in the door, because I knew I'd see that face and hear the bitching immediately. I'd get a text every day around 10 a.m., because that's when she'd finally get out of bed, letting me know what I had done wrong that morning, usually with pictures. I got to the point that I never sat down, from the moment I got home until the moment I went to bed. Even today, 3 years after our divorce, I'm convinced that someone will judge me if I sit down for even a second. The psychological abuse does damage. You've only been married 1.5 years. I promise, this won't get better. Might, Business 7231 says. WTF, do you think women like that want? I don't understand it, but part of me thinks they agitate so they can be dominated. Once dominated, they calm the F down. It's just a theory. But then, there are also miserable fucking women who just will never be happy and like a target. I don't disagree, I think it's true I'll test a decent amount of the time, maybe not in all cases, but quite a bit. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for your input. I wouldn't say it's that extreme as your wife at the time, but I feel you. My wife isn't a home mom, she works and has a well-paid job. It's just, for example, before I even sit down or have a cup of coffee, I have to do at least 30 to 45 minutes of all kinds of thing before I can relax. Every day. Or else I have to hear bitching from when she enters. But I can definitely relate to the psychological abuse coming from that. Barcott says. Divorce her and run. She doesn't care about you but only about herself and her kids. She knows it will be difficult to raise them without you. Run. We are, colored says. Up. Not gonna lie. I think I'll have to run some point, hee. She will always to them before me and I get that. Funny_Wolverine_9 says. Men, stay away from single moms. Their priority is always to have someone bailing them out financially. They never truly see you as part of their family. The reason Op wants a divorce is probably he noticed that he's literally the third wheel all the time and only there to pay the bills. Op, do not tell her your plans. Speak to a lawyer, make a decision and go from there. Dangerous_item_6879 says. Therapy doesn't work. Your wife sounds like she has narcissistic/entitlement tendencies. Lots of us have been in the I'm doing everything I can and she is still not happy boat. The boys are old enough to be self-sufficient and they will be out of the house soon. Can you tolerate this nonsense for another 3 to 4 years? Probably not. Start the paperwork now. We are, colored says. Op. Thanks for your input. When do women realize that you make yourself happy, happiness come from within? Do you think the boys will be okay after a couple of months? 3 to 4 years of this? Hell no. Dangerous_item_6879 says. They don't realize happiness comes from within. Social media brainwashed them all. They think that the man needs to do everything while they go out for lunch, tennis, yoga and fuck their personal trainer. Striking Trainer 8148 says. She's done this to someone before. My advice is to take a solo vacation and see if things are better when you're back. We are, colored says. Up. I need a vacation, that for sure. Small_quarter_3673 says. Good advice. D-Day_throwaway3 says. Greater than we should try and work things out. Genuine desire cannot be negotiated. Negotiated desire only leads to obligated compliance, which results in resentment by both parties. Greater than have any of you experienced that your wife wouldn't sign? Talk to a solicitor. You aren't the first person to face this issue. Your wife isn't some legal expert. No-fault divorce is a thing, and doesn't require the other party to agree to it. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for your input. Exactly. It cannot be negotiated. You are so right. This will just become much worse the longer I wait. F you money says. I feel so bad for them, but I can't stand 1 more month, let alone 6 months with therapy and giving false hopes. Here's your answer. File for divorce immediately. The longer you wait, the worse the outcome will be. And to hell with therapy, it doesn't work and only delays the inevitable. Might, Business 7231 says. You are raising 2 kids who are not your own. You are a fucking saint. She only cares about losing you as a resource. If she makes you miserable, get out. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for calling me a saint. That's a first, hee hee. Yes, I guess. It's also going to be very difficult for her to stay in this house with only one income. Even though she is well paid. I do feel that I need to get out of this. Hopefully she signs. Small_quarter_3673 says. Isn't that amazing that he has been raising her kids for a long time and she treats him badly? She should be treating like a king to show appreciation. Boss, Patriot 71 says. It is not selfish for you to want peace and happiness in your life. You deserve it. And I bet you'll be an even better dad when divorced. Wishing you all the best. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for that. Hopefully she will still allow me to see them after the divorce. But I don't know. Henry's Magent says. The single mother doesn't want to lose her ATM, whoops, I mean her beloved husband. The best time to marry a single mother is never. We are, colored says. Up. Middle dot. Haha, good one. She has a well-paid job but I don't think can stay in the house. She needs my cut too. Educational_south_65 says. When did you lose your balls? I can't imagine stressing about coming to my place of peace. You do realize that you will die alone? Life is short. Divorce isn't the end, right? Snap out of it and end this now. RoseFN001 says. I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. But I have 2 kids that I don't want to be away from. I'm sure if I brought it up to my wife, she'd want therapy. But honestly, I don't want to do it. I'm done with this marriage. Good luck to you. We are, colored says. Up. I hope you find peace, brother. I feel you. Sometimes we just know that it's not gonna work anymore. How long have you been married/together? RoseFN001 says. Married 15 years. Together 20. We are, colored says. Op middle dot. Damn. Long time together. Hopefully you'll find courage when you get to Texas. Red Tulipsfield says. You are not ruining the family if you are unhappy. Is she willing to change? She doesn't need to sign the papers for you to divorce. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for saying that. Change? I see her changing into the way she mother talks to her stepfather. It's become worse over the years. It wasn't like this in the beginning. How can I divorce if she doesn't sign? Red Tulipsfield says. Have you talked to her about her behavior and that it makes you unhappy? Where do you live? In some countries you can request the divorce papers online and then they send it to you. We are, colored says. Up. We live in Denmark. Oh yes. I have told her many times that her behavior is unexpected. A couple of years ago we also went to therapy. She will never change. _quarter_3673 says. I would ask what is she willing to do to make it work? Also she can't want the marriage but blame you and treat you badly. Samco02001 says. I hope you're not obligated to pay CS for the kids that are not yours. Bring, the Stealths says. Does it even matter if she won't sign? Can she stop a divorce by not doing so? San Miguel de Allende says. At a minimum, I would separate. You need time apart. I was in a similar situation and moved into my own place with one of the kids. Didn't initially know if we would get back together or not. The more we were apart the more I knew I could never go back. I forgot what it felt like to feel good most days. I had to file and I'm so glad I did. Best decision ever. 1. We are, colored says. Up. Thanks for that. I think that's what has to happen. Okay, Dress 2707 says. Cake Day. I've been married for 18 years. They don't change. We adapt and grow, but they will be the same woman until their last breath. This isn't all women, but I bet 1,000,000 to 1, yours is just like mine. I'm moving to Texas and filing soon. Best of luck to you. We are, colored says. Up. I hear you, brother. Very true. Women are so much alike. Doesn't matter the country. And the best for luck to you. Stay strong. Thanks guys. Before you go, leave a comment, smash the like button and subscribe if you have not. Come back tomorrow for more stories. Don't forget to click on notification icon, not to miss any time we upload a new video.